Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm JP and this is week 22 of my $10,000 prop firm challenge. This week is a little bit uncomfortable to talk about. It was a red week, but that's okay, red weeks happen. The reason it's uncomfortable is because most of the week was clean, but then on Friday I broke process. So I want to go through the week honestly because that's the point of documenting this journey. I'm not just talking about the good trades. I'm not just talking about the disciplined weeks. I talk about everything. I started the week with a balance of $10,170. Same rules as usual. I only trade gold during the London session. I only take one trade a day and I don't trade manage. Every trade either hits target or it hits stop. That structure has been helping me keep things simple, but this week also exposed something important. It's not enough to have rules. I still have to respect them in the moment. On Monday, a valid setup had actually formed, but price never pulled back into my entry level, so I never got tagged in. And that's just a normal no trade day. The setup can be valid, but if price doesn't come back to the entry, there's nothing to do. So Monday stayed flat. Tuesday gave another long valid setup on gold during the London session. I took the entry and it was normal based on my rules. It didn't work out though and closed for a loss. That was just a clean losing trade. On Wednesday, a valid short setup formed. I entered the trade and then left it alone. Just before I went to bed, I looked at the trade and it was still open. And at that point in time, I felt very tempted to close it manually. I looked at higher time frame structure and how it was changing and how the trade might be likely to fail. But that is not part of my current management rules, so I left it alone. And even though it lost, that was still a correct decision to make according to the system I'm trading. A clean loss is still a clean loss. Thursday itself gave no valid setup, so no trade. That part of the week was still fine. Up to this point, the week was red, but the process was still intact. Friday is where the real issue happened. I took a long trade on gold, and I need to be honest about this one. Seconds before entering, I literally said to myself that the setup didn't even look like an A-grade setup, more like a B or even a C, but I still entered. That was FOMO. There's no better word for it. It wasn't a clean strategy loss, it was a bad decision. Then later, a cleaner setup presented itself. And because I already knew the first trade was bad, I told myself that the first one didn't count. So I took a second trade. That was also wrong. Because a trade was placed on the account, it counts. Even if this was a bad trade, even if I regretted it straight away, even if a better setup appears later. One trade per day means one actual execution. Not one trade that I approve of afterwards. That second trade was also a last one. So Friday was not just a losing day, Friday was a process breach. So overall, week 22 ended with the account at $9,960. That's a loss of $210 for the week, or about 4R. But the number is not the biggest issue here. The real issue is that Friday broke process. Tuesday was a clean loss. Wednesday was a frustrating loss but still followed the rules. Friday was different. Friday was FOMO followed by me trying to mentally erase the first trade and take another one. That is exactly the kind of thinking I need to cut out. The biggest takeaway from this week is simple. A trade counts the moment it is placed. It doesn't matter if I regret it, nor does it matter whether it was a bad setup. It doesn't even matter if the better setup comes later. That trade used the day. That rule has to be clean, because if I start deciding afterwards which trades count, then the whole structure becomes meaningless. And honestly, that's the danger. It's not one red week, not one loss. It's the small loopholes that slowly destroy discipline. So going forward, this gets locked properly. If I place a trade, that is the trade for the day. Good or bad, clean or ugly, it counts. So that's it for week 22. A red week, mostly clean at first, but Friday exposed a real discipline issue. I'm not going to hide that. I'm going to fix it and keep moving. Next week, the goal is simple. Wait for the setup, take one trade, and make sure that the trade actually deserves to be taken. Thanks for watching. I'm JP, and I'll see you in the next recap.